Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. I'm always taking flack from people saying, oh, the background noise is deafening. I can't hear what you're saying. So I actually tried to pick a street in Nanning that isn't as loud and well used by big trucks and buses and all that other stuff. And my vlogs are mostly about what I see, what I experience in China. Today is no different, and I call it sparking my light bulb. I was in a group chat with Alex Absolute. He's another YouTuber here in China, and we were talking about left-at-home children. And I was referring to children in rural China, two girls. And I'm going to do a special video about them next April when I'm down in Bobai. It was supposed to be quiet, but I guess it got a little bit noisy. Maybe the lights changed, whatever. But it got me to thinking. You know, Alex was talking about rich people, millionaires, rather than taking care of their children, they leave them behind to go make millions of RMB and run business and stuff like that. Well, and I was talking about rural children where the parents are so dirt poor, they have no land, they're living in buildings that were built in the 60s and 70s, made out of not even cow manure, water buffalo manure, straw and clay. With, you know, and it's not a good life. There's rats, there's snakes, there's centipedes, there's flies and no-see-ums. If you come from Saskatchewan, you know what a no-see-um is. And those little suckers are worse than mosquitoes. They raise welts on you. So it just goes to show that even people that are in the same country from the West have difficulty understanding each other at times about certain subjects. And the left-at-home children is one of those subjects that's, I don't know, I've been going to Bobai now for over 16 years. I've got family there. I watched these two girls grow up, and I've watched what their family has gone through. Noise, yeah, well, this is China. Sorry guys, it's just you're not going to get away from it unless I go hide in some park somewhere, but then you've got some Chinese guy singing at the top of his lungs with a big speaker going and stuff. Anyway, so I've been watching these two little girls since they were born. One is 2 years older than the other, and I'm not going to name names because that's not what this video is about. And I've seen their parents, dirt poor, living off their neighbors because in Bobai there's really no social welfare. There's a farming community that everybody helps everybody else out. And I saw these two, the mom and dad and the grandmother that lives with them, and these two children having a really rough time. No food, no money, no land, living in an old place, dirt floor. You get the idea. So the mother and father had to make a decision. Do they stay there and live like this with no future in mind? Or do they try to make a better life for their children by actually having to leave their children behind? And you hear all of these horror stories. Oh, these poor children have been left behind by their parents. They go off to make money because money is more important than the children are. Well, that's bullshit. The only reason they're going off to places like Guangdong province to work 6 days a week, probably 10 or 12 hours a day, is to supply their children with clothes, food, and a chance for a future. Sure, they want money for themselves too, and they leave the children usually with a grandparent, and in this instance it's a grandmother. Granddad is gone, and I don't know where her parents are. They're out of the picture. Anyway, I've been, and I'm going to put some pictures of these two girls in this video right now. Look at this. Cute, eh? Yeah. So anyway, I've watched these two kids grow up since they were just babies.
Because I'm an anomaly in Bobai, I'm telling you, I'm the first white guy to ever be in that area of Bobai. These two kids, they get dressed in their prettiest little outfit. Construction. Their prettiest little outfits, and as soon as they know that I'm in town, because I live at the house right next door to them pretty well, their grandmother gets them dressed in their prettiest little outfits that they've got, and they come and they take pictures with me each and every time. So I've got lots of pictures, and it's sort of a tradition now. So I've watched what these kids have gone through, from being dirt poor to being able to wear nice pretty dresses, all the food that they need. You know, they've got furniture, and they've got just extras that they wouldn't have if mom and dad hadn't gone to Guangdong province to work. And yeah, it's hard on the parents to leave their children behind. And you've got to understand that the Chinese way of thinking, especially in rural China, is different than the Western world. And this is something that most Westerners probably won't be able to get their head around. Just for the fact that who would leave their children behind to go to work? Well, you've got to understand, no social welfare, guys. If you're not getting from the government and you're not working for yourself, your children don't eat. They don't get shoes on their feet. They don't get clothes. They don't get books to write in, a pencil. All of these things in China aren't free like in the West. If you go to school in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and you don't have a pencil, I guarantee you the teacher has one for you, or a book to write in. I guarantee you the teacher has one for you. In China, it's not like that. Especially in rural China, it's not like that. So you've got to understand that these parents are doing the best they can for their kids. I know that Alex was talking about richer people in his city, that you know, there's lots of rich people in China, and they leave their children to go away to run business, and the business and the money is way more important than the children in their eyes. And yes, these guys are not of the greatest character, and you get people like this in every country where they look after themselves. They have the greed in them, and I don't condone that for 1 minute. You know, if it was up to me, I'd tax the living shit out of them. I'd Trudeau their fucking asses. Yeah, I'd turn into a liberal fart just like Trudeau and tax them, because you shouldn't be leaving your children at home alone if you don't have to, if it's not in the best interest of both the family and the children. But in rural China, in Bobai, I've got so much experience in rural China over the last 16 plus years that I've seen stuff. I've witnessed it firsthand, and I've seen the despair that these parents go through, and the poorness in places in rural China that, you know, people are living off $1 a day, man. I'm telling you, it's not the best place to raise children. Well, actually, you know, it is a good place to raise children if you have land. If you've got a little bit of money, it's a clean, safe, and wholesome environment. But some people aren't lucky, and they don't have the land, they don't have the job, they don't have the money, so they've got to find a way out. And with the parents that I'm talking about today, they had no choice. They had to go. Could one of them have gone? Probably. Would that have been a better situation for the children? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not here to second guess their decision, because that's their family. They know better for their family than I would. In a Western way of thinking, yeah, you know what I'm thinking. But in their eyes, they were doing the best thing that they could for their family and their children. I see it, and
they're not the only ones in the community that have gone and left their children. See, these two children are Liaos. These are the same as my wife's last name, because everybody from that area, Bobai, last name is Liao. So I would imagine they'd probably be family members 7 times removed. Who knows? They're all related, sort of. In a place like Bobai, where everybody's last name is the same, you don't see a lot of people marrying anybody from the same community, because you never know if they're a relative, eh? And their records are not very good. So you see people from Bobai marrying people from Yulin or other communities. Anyway, I digress again. I'm sure after the parents make enough money in Guangdong province, they'll go back to Bobai, probably when the girls are a little bit older and ready to go to either high school or university, if they have the money to put the girls in university. But then again, in rural China, the girls usually get married off, and not big on secondary education. I hate to say it, but it's actually the truth in places like that. You do see a lot of people, say at Guangxi University, girls at Guangxi University, and you saw my video about that. But because the population in China is so huge, that's just a small percentage of the females from rural China that actually get to go to university. Yeah, I would say chances are they'll get married to a farmer husband, and maybe he'll have land, and they'll have a better life than their parents had. And this is the main thing that all the parents in China, especially in rural China, well, not just in rural China, everywhere in China, have for their children, is that they want their children to have a better life than they did. And that's why they decide to leave the farm and go work in a different province to try to make money, so their children have a better education, more chance in life, and just have a step up rather than a step down in the future. And that's what this is all about. That's why they leave their children at home with the grandparents. They don't do it because they want to. They do it because they have to. They don't have a choice. I'd like to give a shout out to Alex Absolute for sparking my light bulb on this one. Yeah, I was going to do the video next April, and I'm still going to be doing the video next April on the ground in Bobai, and dealing with the idea of left at home children. And it's going to be more in depth than just sitting on the street corner listening to big trucks go by, guys. I'm sorry about that. I thought it was quiet here. This is sort of an off-road, and they've got a subway going through at the end of the street, so there's not supposed to be a lot of vehicles running down this road, but I guess they get through. Buses. Yes, I know. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and push that share button. Don't forget to hit the bell, and thanks for watching. Bye now.